Hello and welcome to Leashed Dad's podcast. That is Justin.
Hey, that's Jared, folks.
We are two leashed dads that get together to discuss our everyday lives while chained to our parental responsibilities. And it is the first week of school. How did it go for y'all?
Well, why are you asking me? I don't know. Um, I definitely think it went pretty well here. The kids have enjoyed it, I guess. A little more freedom for our oldest as he's biking to school and doing things like that.
Ooh, big
Um,
move.
yeah, it's definitely huge. Being independent, I still have to get him up in the morning, but
Well,
uh,
yeah.
it's all right though. The younger boys are going over to grandma's. She'll drop them off in the morning, whatnot. Kind of the same routine that has happened for years now, I guess, at that point. But let's see, we've also got, yeah, it's going well. I know the first week can always be a make or break. It kind of really sets the tone for how the school year is going to play in or play out, not in, but play out. So
Head into it.
hopefully everything still goes well um, throughout the rest of the school year too. I mean, my second grader, 7-year old, he was super excited when he found out who his teacher was, just because his teacher and him have a connection in a sense of where they do Pokemon. Like his teacher actually gives out Pokemon cards on, like, I don't know if it's every Friday or whatnot, but he'll do that from time to time. So it's very interesting. We'll see how, like I said, it all turns out in the long run. So,
Where was that teacher when I was in fourth grade?
right, tell me about it.
It was the opposite for us. They were banning those things. We were not allowed to have them anywhere in sight.
Yeah, it was
It's the
definitely interesting.
devil.
It's the devil. Oh my goodness.
Pokemon or the devil.
Oh, I remember that shit too.
Remember that shit?
I do. I one of my neighbors, their mom actually believed that Staryu was an upside down sign of the devil.
Well, you know it is.
No, I
For
don't believe in
sure.
it. I love your sarcasm, but I still don't believe in it.
Pikachu's the Antichrist, you know.
Why? Because it casts Thunderbolt all the time?
Yep.
Jesus Christ. Anyways, getting away from that. But
Hey,
no,
anybody who knows a good tattoo artist in Wisconsin area, if they're good at drawing Pokemon, I'd love a Raichu
you want to
somewhere.
Raichu Pokemon?
Raichu's my favorite Pokemon
Why is it
because it's the first
Raichu?
one I ever saw.
Why is it Raichu and not Raichu?
I don't know. I thought it was always Raichu.
It's
Or is it
Raichu.
Raichu?
It's
It's
just
Raichu?
Raichu. Yeah.
Raichu? Okay.
Or am I saying it wrong? I don't know. There's always a big debate, right? I mean, the legendary Pokemon Rayquaza. I used to call it Rayquaza. Now it is actually Rayquaza. The actual
Interesting.
way it's supposed to be pronounced is Rayquaza, not Rayquaza. That's what it is. That's what I used to say, Rayquaza, but it's Rayquaza.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a bunch of them that you could say differently. But so you had to go out and get a bike lock for your eldest son's bike then, and
we had the bike lock for a while actually.
okay,
Um, it's in. I don't remember when he actually first got it, but he got it. He hopefully uses it. Obviously, bikes are expensive. Um, so yeah, he's had it. He's learned how to use it. Um, and we'll see how it plays out for the rest of the year. Maybe, I mean, it might come to an end during winter as it gets colder.
oh yeah,
But as soon as it gets nice enough again or whatnot, he's gonna probably want to continue biking to school, which is fine.
I,
Um,
yeah,
it is what it is. But as long as my younger children don't want to walk home from school, that's okay. I mean, they did it. They did try it at once when Arlo was in kindergarten with our nieces and our nieces who had gone off to like the middle school, and then Kane was still in grade school as well. But um, they all tried walking home together and whatnot. But it was, funny because Arlo was struggling to keep up. Just kind of looking back at that a little bit, it's like, yeah, he struggled to keep up. Again, then again, you're looking at like kindergarten or whatever, and he's just really tiny.
Yeah.
His stride is not there yet. There's a huge age gap between, a sixth grader, seventh grader, and a kindergartner. But yeah, now, I mean, the routines are kind of set though as well, besides the first week of school being set. Um, Surprise, surprise, my second grader already has a reading assignment. Read 15 minutes a week.
My first grader is 20 minutes a day.
Did I say 15 minutes a week? I meant 15 minutes a day.
Okay.
Not 15 minutes a week. Jeez, that's like done and over with, like, you
Right.
know, almost instantly. That doesn't promote very good reading at all, anyways, which is unfortunate. But no, it's actually a good thing that 15 minutes a day. I think probably five days a week, something like that. Just to give the kids a break or whatnot. Um, but it'll be nice because I want to see how that all pans out as well. Um, See what books he starts reading because I know last year he was working his reading up throughout the time, uh, getting more and more difficult books in the first grade. Um, but that was all based on the reading patterns that he had gone through and establishing confidence in his own reading.
Right.
Um, Tonight he read, just talking about the reading right there. He actually read, started reading more or less a 5-minute Mickey Mouse story.
Okay.
So he started reading like, it's a collection of 5-minute reading books. Um, it was about Mickey and his gang going surfing. Yep. And then he picked out a different book where, shame on him. Shame on me for not enforcing like maybe a harder difficulty book, but it was a Grover book from Sesame Street, where it was you push the buttons and it kind of reads out loud to you and everything. And he was doing that and kind of reading along with it though. So shame on me for not trying to give him something more difficult. But at the same time, I think, looking back on it, which was just a couple hours ago, really is still good for him
Right.
because it's not like that book has easy words. I mean, sure, it's got his important sight words in there. But it's also got other words that don't necessarily come as easy. So, and then, yeah, well, Kane is claiming he doesn't have any homework yet, and I'm not going to have that fly. That, as much as I'm going to believe him now, with it only being the first week, I don't want to see that flying because we do have access. And just remember, folks, you do have access to your kids' grades.
Yep.
Probably since now you can access like the portal or anything like that. You don't have to worry about grade reports coming in every quarter. You can have access to your kids' grades. I'm sure teachers will reach out to you as well if they notice your child's having problems. So just make sure your child isn't causing the problems.
That too. Yeah.
And by causing, I mean disrespecting the teacher. Therefore, the teacher's not going to be willing to help out. Kind of burning the bridge with the teacher and the respect that they deserve too, right? I think that's one of the big problems sometimes with children. It's like, oh, well, I asked the teacher for help. Yes, but you're also the one who starts the problem in the first place, and the teacher's not going to, as much as the teacher's there to teach you, they also have some tone set for them to not waste their time with you because you're not going to listen to them.
Yeah. You brought up that your child grabbed a bit of an easier, kind of read along book. Well, mine grabbed like full fledged science books about dinosaurs. And I was like, you're not going to be able to read half these words, or we can try. The main point of your reading assignment is for you to learn your sight words and start learning how to read. And so I went upstairs and picked out books instead of her coming down with all these like long, detailed, sciencey books.
Yeah, that's not bad. I mean,
Yeah.
you can always encourage, and she's maybe looking for a challenge. Maybe she finds those books to be, her other books to be too easy. I don't know.
No, it's not.
No.
It's just the subject matter. She wanted to read about dinosaurs.
Hmm.
So,
There you go. She's interested in dinosaurs. It's a good thing.
yeah.
Um, but I feel, if she wants to do that, let her do it. Help her out. That's what you're there for. As a parent, you're there to help your kids. Almost wanted to say students. You're there to help your kids learn to read. And if they're trying, I know, yes, you do have to remind them that this material might be too hard. Just kind of setting the expectation that it's okay to fail, even though they don't want to. I mean, I was just watching something on TikTok earlier about, and this is actually in relation to the schooling, but it's a social psychology experiment, or like a social experiment, where half the class gets 3 easy words for the anagram, and the other half, there's 3 words on a piece of paper, like a list of words, 3 words that half the class gets. The other half gets 2 words that are impossible to turn into anagrams, and the last word they all get, right? So one half gets lemon, and um, I can't remember what the word is, but it turns out to be American as the anagram. Like if you solve it, you can make it American. Uh, but obviously, bat becomes tab, lemon can become melon, and the other word becomes American.
Hmm.
The other half of the class had something like whirl, and then their second word was whatever, and then the last word was American, or turned into American. Wow. What do you think when it comes to reading? How those kids that couldn't solve the first two felt?
Yeah.
Again, this is the idea of learned helplessness, right? So, when your kid starts taking on something a little too challenging, right? You know, you, us as parents and teachers out there, we need to remember that we have to work with these kids. We want to provide them with the right amount of confidence, but at the same time, we want to remind them that it's okay to fail, and it doesn't mean you need to destroy
Right.
your confidence at all in your learning abilities.
Yeah. Good point. So it's all right in my household here. The routine's a bit of a hard pill to swallow now. It's definitely a challenge. Like tonight, it was like half an hour of just tomfoolery and
Hmm.
totally ignoring the fact that they were 20 minutes past bedtime, which
Oh, why were they past bedtime?
all lollygagging and just not doing what they're supposed to do. And I can't find this stuffed animal. I can't find this. Where's that? I need a drink of water. I'm thirsty.
Yeah. Oh
Yep.
goodness. Yep. Yep. Yeah, I'm at that too. It's pretty bad because we've got mm, our, my 7-year-old Arlo, who loves to, when he knows it's bedtime. Uh, him and Nico will talk it up or talk a little bit, but at the same time, he knows it's bedtime. And then all of a sudden, he comes out of his room. He's kind of procrastinating and putting off actually trying to fall asleep and everything. He'll come out and say, "I'm hungry," and he was doing this before school started too. Like, I get there's a point where he might be getting hungry again, or like going through a growth spurt here. the fact that he's doing it every night when he's supposed to be in bed and falling asleep already, to me, it's more or less he's just trying to prevent having to go to bed at 8:30
Yeah.
because he'll come out at like 8:45 and be like, "I'm hungry." And it's like,
Yep.
yeah, no, you can't be doing this, buddy. Like, and this was
Yeah.
happening, like I said, a couple weeks before we started getting into the schooling habit or school routine. So,
Yeah. Hey, on a sadder note, folks, hearts go out to the families affected by the Georgia school shooting as well that happened today. So,
let's have a
uh,
moment of silence for that.
yeah. I can't ever imagine. I mean, it's obviously always in the back of my head, but if you guys need anybody to reach out to, feel free to reach out to us, leashdads14 gmail.com. If you ever need someone to talk to, we're here.
Yeah, if you want to talk about some experiences or other things that you're worried about, any topics you want to bring up too is all fine by us. Maybe it's concerns about your children in school, or um, by no means are we like professionals or psychiatrists or
No,
psychologists, but if you want to vent to us or share your stories, uh, because our hearts are set on helping and knowing that there's a community out there for you folks,
right.
for us, leashed, leashed parents. Uh, yes, we are leashed dads, but we're not just, we're not just going to be focused on dads either. Um, really, any parent that feels chained to their everyday responsibilities, prioritizing their kids and feeling maybe just no no them time or no me time. I know that was something we talked about a lot in the past. It's
Yep.
still very crucial to this day, I believe. So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, like this is almost kind of like a little bit of me time right here.
A
As
little
that
bit.
sounds,
Hey, baby.
just a little bit. So, any Jared, what else? With the first week of school, are your daughters at all like super excited, or um, I mean, what's it like for your youngest right now?
She's
She's just started
on
full
cloud
time.
nine. Yep. Well, it's just the afternoons, just the afternoons.
Oh, okay.
And she was a little apprehensive at first with just giving. You could tell she was curious about it, but she wasn't so enthusiastic that she was talking about going until she saw other kids playing, and then it was just like, okay, bye, mom, see ya. And then like today, she like, I want to go to school all day, mom, all day.
Nice.
Okay, well, that's great, but we can't really do that right now.
Yeah, we can't necessarily do that. Wait till next year.
Right. Yeah. No, but they're excited. They're in their happy place. They love being out and about.
Do I even dare bring up the other child, your stepson?
I have not heard from him probably in 3 months. So
No. So basically, summer is kind of come and gone. Haven't heard from him, and now he's doing whatever.
yep.
Hmm. It is what it is, though. If he needs something, I'm sure he'll reach out to mom or you.
Yeah. I mean, being a freshman at a high school is some scary shit. I know I had a hard time with it. So if I hope that he has people he can talk to.
Yeah, I mean, there should always be somebody he can talk to. It's called
Yeah.
your counselor, or your teachers. But really, you still want your children to be able to come talk to you, so you can
Yeah.
address the situation properly too, or know that have your kids trust, right? Where I know sometimes kids don't want to necessarily share things with their parents because they're afraid the parents are going to overreact. or you know, maybe they don't necessarily actively listen and take the proper steps. That's what I'm trying to think of. English has been hard for me recently. Like today is just I've had a rough week with English. Like I couldn't get words like autopilot out today.
Oh boy.
Um, yeah, it's one of those things. So yeah, yeah. No, my thought process there was just be there for your kids too, especially since new schools can be um, scary. Even though you have the opportunity to go to the class or to the school, like a little school orientation or whatever they want to call it nowadays, um, just to get acquainted with with the building, with the teachers, um, you know, get acclimated to everything, or try to. Which I mean, I don't understand this. I don't. Maybe it's because I don't remember it, but it
Yeah.
infuriates me a little bit knowing that my eldest son only has like 3 minutes to go from his locker, like one classroom to his locker to another classroom.
That's how much I had.
I see. I don't remember having that much or how much time we
Okay.
really had. Um, but to me, in middle school, it's like maybe you deserve more time, or maybe this is the time you deserve to carry your backpack all over the place. Where like in high school, you probably have like 10 or 5-10 minutes to get to one or from classroom to locker to classroom.
Depending on your schedule, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's one of those things. I looked up Kimberly's school. They've actually changed up some of their schooling or their schedule. Not too much, but it's still block scheduling where it's like 90 minutes for their main, like their core classes or whatever. Their like, or sorry, their first, second, and fourth block, and then third block is where you have your lunch, and that's still like 40 minutes a piece, roughly. Um, but at the same time, they have some additional days in there now. Um, I'd have to look it up again, but I don't remember. So it's one of those
Are
things.
your kids excited about anything?
I think honestly, like I said, Arlo's just excited about his second grade teacher, and already having that connection. So I think he really just looks forward to the Pokemon cards on Fridays. We'll see how that turns out. You know, it's funny because when I asked the kids about how their first day of school went, all I got was good. I'm like, are you kidding me? I need to change the approach. Tell me about your first day of school, or
Yeah,
tell me
right.
about your school day. What was your most enjoyable day, part of the day? Just to have them talk a little more than what they're doing now. Um, because if, you give them basically a closed-ended question, right? Or one word, they can simply answer that question with one word. How was your day, Jared? Yeah. Can
Meh.
you elaborate a little bit more, please? Jared, tell
Nah.
me about your day. Tell me what made your day so.
Meh.
Really, you're not going to do that at all. Jesus Christ, you are a leash dad. You pain in the ass. I don't
My
know.
day was fine.
Yeah, what made it
Good.
fine?
Uh,
Jesus Christ, folks, don't be like Jared.
I'm just being what the usual kid says.
I know you're being a pain in the ass. That's basically what a kid is, right? A pain in the ass.
Well, JJ, I got up. I got my kids ready for school, at least Eleanor, and then I sat on my butt and answered emails all day.
That sounds like a good time.
Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe.
Great.
Yeah, my day was interesting to say the least. Um, I guess by interest, I don't want to necessarily say by interesting, but it was. I was kind of successful throughout the week, honestly, with my job. Uh,
Good.
since it is a shorter week here, um, with Labor Day happened and everything,
Yep.
I had our Tuesday was very very slow, just because most of our patients are children of the teenage variety, so they're in school, right? Um, and I'm sure parents don't necessarily want to pull their kids out for a half hour to an hour to 3 hours even, because our longest appointment is 3 hours long, and that's
Yeah.
when they're getting their braces off. What child or what parent wants to pull their child out of school in the beginning of the day, nonetheless, to have them get their braces off?
I don't know. I had
I
that.
don't either. I don't think I could do that on the first day. So
Well, I
it's
didn't
like,
have it the first day, but I definitely got. I usually had morning appointments when I had my braces.
well, yeah, okay, that's not bad. I mean, I think most of the time when I had my braces or anything, it was always kind of at the end of the day.
Mm.
Therefore, we could plan around or get me out of school. I already be out of school, so I'm not missing. Hey, sorry
Oh,
guys.
don't start that.
I'm trying not to. I'm really trying not to. But yeah, I mean, I think honestly that I would always try to plan. Like, I never scheduled my appointments because I wasn't necessarily the one actually
Right.
uh, doing the traveling or the van or pulling around or driving around. Right. Um, I was just kind of the one that just had to be like, okay, yep, I gotta go. My mom's here to pick me up. I'm leaving. Bye.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it is what it is. But I still, like I said, I think that most of the parents are trying to avoid especially the first day of school or the first couple days, avoid anything where the kids are being pulled out for too long,
Yeah.
because the first day, like I said, kind of really like the first day, first week really sets the tone for it, right? Wouldn't you kind of
Right.
agree?
Yeah.
Or what are your other thoughts there?
Well, you really shouldn't be taking your child out of the first couple days of school. If you have an appointment, reschedule it. I mean, because
Yeah.
if you're taking your kid out already in the first day of school or the second day of school, don't let that set a trend. Otherwise, your kid's teachers are going to be like, "Oh, he doesn't give a crap about school," or his
Well, I think
parents
the
don't care that his.
I think the hardest part too, though, right? Uh, with that being said, is no matter what, a lot of kids are gonna, when it comes to attendance, right? I was always kind of worried about having perfect attendance at points
Same.
in time. But at the same time, even with an excused absence under your belt, like calling and saying, "Oh yeah, Justin's got to get pulled out for so and so," that's why we always try to do it at the end of the day, just because most of the time at the end of the day you're not doing anything. So it was really truly at the end of the day, or tried to make it at the end of the school day. Like, we're talking, all right, Justin, you can leave class 5 minutes early.
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically 5 minutes before everybody else is able to go.
So you
So,
feel a
like I
little
said,
special.
no, I don't really feel special at all. But because, it's still counted against my perfect attendance because I'm just getting out. Um,
Yeah.
or I'm still missing school. But with, other people that have to miss 3 hours of school once or when they do have their braces on or get their braces on for the first time and then have to get adjustments made, they're missing, let's see here, 3 hours there, 4 hours.
A while.
They're missing quite a few hours of school,
Yeah.
all because they have braces. And they do this about every 4 to 6 weeks, half an hour appointments. You typically, if everything goes well, right? If if you're an ideal, let's just say the ideal orthodontic treatment where you don't make any big adjustments or things like that, but that's not, like that's a fantasy world. So the ideal thing, 4 to 6 weeks. Every 4 to 6 weeks, you come in for a half hour appointment. Um, Besides when you first get your braces on and when you get your braces off, you know, and like 18 to 30 some visits, all depending on how bad your teeth are, right? So 18 visits times 30, you're still looking at about 2,400 hours
Right.
or whatever, 1,200, yeah, something like that. So, I mean, it's a lot of time that you're missing. You're missing a lot of school. So, unfortunately, it sucks. Because I mean, that's just over the. That's not just 1 year, right? That's 18 visits, and we go off of visits. We don't go off of months because you can't necessarily always get in month over
Right.
month, right? So that's why we say 4 to 6 weeks, or um, when you're able to get your visit in. Because believe it or not, you schedule something, right? You schedule your appointment. Let's say you are able to get it every single month, or like on that 4 week mark. Um, but then all of a sudden something comes up. Now you had to push back your schedule or your appointment. Sucks, but you got to do what you got to do. Therefore, now instead of being on a 4 week basis, you might have just gone from 4 weeks or consistent 4 weeks now to jumping to like a 5 or 6 week, and now you're trying to get back into a 4 week pattern or something, or you forget you have an appointment, or even worse, something happens where you break a bracket, and now you've set yourself back or cause more or longer treatment time because one broken bracket, believe it or not, will cause about 3 months or something like that, from what I remember. About three
Yikes.
months. Yeah, it's just one of those things. 3 months of missing or one appointment gets set back from 3 months or
Wow.
for having a broken bracket. So now you have 3 months to try to play catch up on.
Don't break your back, folks.
Don't be an idiot. Don't be a
No.
dum dum. I know a lot of people probably try not to break them. Accidents do happen, believe it or not. But if something, this is going to be a nice little message out to everybody here. If you do break a bracket, don't wait till your next appointment. Try to get your butt in. I understand that mom and dad may be the one, maybe your transportation, or grandma and grandpa may be transportation, but try to get your butt in sooner so you can get that repaired rather than wait till your next appointment. Unless you do break it the day before your appointment, then don't try to, it is what it is. Unless you did it early in the morning, you're able to get in, get it repaired, and then you still come in. Typically what will happen though from from some experience is if a patient breaks a bracket, they notice it right away in the morning or something like that. They get in that day for like an emergency visit. Well, and their visit's supposed to happen like a day or two later. Will typically just count see if we wanted to count that as a visit as well, or do the visit at that point of time in time. So it's not like we're just gonna be like, all right, we repaired it. Now get out and come back later. Come
Yeah,
back
right.
tomorrow. Yeah, we won't necessarily always do that. So yeah, it's one of those things. But Jared, do you have anything else at all that you want to say about like the first week of school, or maybe what you're looking forward to for schooling for your girls?
No, I'm just. I mean, I'm happy that the schedule's back, and I'm really looking forward to having some afternoons of peace and quiet. So
Oh, good luck with that.
yeah,
Actually, I can get away with the peace and quiet because usually what will happen is after school gets out, my aunt-in-law will pick the boys up and she'll watch them. She'll feed them or whatever. Sometimes she likes to spoil them, hang out with them, right? So she'll do that for depending on if she's able to or not. But she'll usually hang out. They'll usually hang out with her, and then she'll drop them off or whatnot. So it'll be a nice time. Hopefully,
awesome.
the kids do well. Hopefully, don't necessarily push on your kids too much about their homework, but still make sure they're getting it done.
Yep.
Just because you don't want them falling behind by any means. So, um, be mindful of how you approach it. I think I was a little pushy earlier with my kid about not having homework already. Um, I mean, middle school, you're still probably setting a curriculum for each of your classes or whatnot. Uh, but at the same time, some teachers I know loved giving out homework on day one. So just be mindful of how you approach the situation. Uh, Talk to your kids and make sure they are being felt the way they need to be felt. Make sure you're acknowledging the way they feel. Make sure
Yeah.
you are just actively listening to those kids so you're not pushing them away or causing any issues between the household and schooling.
Amen.
So, folks, that's all from us. We are live. This is the first time we are live. Uh, if you have any feedback, you know how to find us. We'll see you all next time from Leash Dad's podcast.